Hey guys, so we're finishing up week 4 here, moving on to week 5, and then the end of the course. So should be finishing up here shortly. So my name is Matt Suter, and this is the ethical case study video. So we're going to compare the difference between viruses and worms. So a virus is a piece of malicious software, files, or what have you. It attaches itself to a program, file, or app. And then it's released by human action. So specifically in regards to our case study with Robert, he created an email chain and actually attached files where again, that was the human action that ended up releasing a virus to everybody in that email chain. Viruses can vary in severity. They can go as far as just hindering stuff and slowing programs down, or actually delete files. Worms are subsets of viruses, and they don't necessarily attach themselves to files, but find vulnerabilities somewhere in a computer. And then this leads to exploiting that system's network. Worms self-replicate, and so they can vary in numbers of 5 worms to thousands to millions of worms. And then they can just be released at will into other computer systems. They take up large amounts of network data. So again, is like a virus, when you're thinking of a virus that could actually delete files or that type of thing, a worm is more of, it just eats data, and it ends up basically slowing our computer down by taking up and utilizing all of its extra data. And then at that point, it just renders the whole computer or network unable to work. And that's when you hear like a network crash or something like that. It's probably a virus. So some legal and ethical concerns from the case study. So we'll start out. The first one was referenced from our textbook. Obviously, this email chain is a huge violation of HIPAA, Health Privacy Act. Specifically thinking of okay, so I didn't necessarily know that Bob Smith was getting treatment for a knee or hip replacement or chronic back pain. Well, now all of a sudden I can see Bob Smith on the email list, and lo and behold, that's a violation of the Healthcare Act. Stemming from that, so the second one that Conklin kind of brings up a valid point is, if you're offering up medical information or health advice in response to, sending out an email chain like Robert did, you're not specifically addressing a person's main concern or giving advice to that one person. You're actually just throwing out, could be lots of ideas to a lot of people. So you're not only could potentially violating legal issues as far as if you're prescribing exercises. I mean, that could be a physician order. That types of stuff. And you might not even be giving current clinical guidelines. If it's just you making an opinion or directing your care, I mean, again, that's legal and ethical concerns, because you're affecting autonomy. If you're talking about knee replacements and somebody's doing something for back pain, you're not necessarily focusing specifically on that patient. Justice is violated, beneficence, non-maleficence, that's all things that can be violated. So again, I would say that basically all of them could be violated, or made a good case for. Basically, healthcare email chains are unethical and they violate a number of legal and ethical concerns. So a safer option that Robert could have done to provide, engagement with the community is, creating a blog or a like a chat room or that type of idea. Actually posting this information and allowing others to access that, as far as giving their consent to access and engage in talking and having conversations about their health issues or their health problems. So that would have been a safer option. And I think, again, keeping in mind that you want to be very careful of addressing, actually giving opinions, or are we giving actual, health information that's validated by a physician or some other type of larger organization. So I would keep that in mind. And that goes not just for emails and that type of thing, but for actually even talking to your patients, I would be very careful of addressing their concerns and how far do you go. There's my references, and happy rest of the course.